So we're talking about architecture and the way Yoko Ono is shifting notion of architecture, actually playing with architecture, finding moments of freedom, taking liberties with architecture. And here we have a good example. This work called A Maze. It's a maze, labyrinth. It's also amazing. She plays with the word and with the world. It's a work that she did in collaboration with George McUnas, who she named the Phantom Architect. He's here, he's not here. He's our host, he's our guest. And as Marcel Duchamp said, a guest plus a host is a ghost, a phantom. And there is a phantom in this room. There's a ghost in this room. First, let's talk about the room itself. It's a maze, but the purpose of a maze, which is a kind of architectural folly, is for people to lose themselves, to lose a sense of where they are. But if you go through this maze, which is made out of glass, it's transparent. So the pure function of the maze is defied, because you always know where you are. In the maze itself, as I mentioned, there is a ghost, a phantom, a guest and a host. There are two versions actually of this piece. The first one, when Yoko Ono did it, at the center of the maze, you had a toilet. And people were invited to use the toilet in the maze, surrounded by, of course, transparent walls. The other version is with a telephone, an old-fashioned telephone. I think very young visitor won't even know what it is, because they have never seen or never used a telephone this way. And this telephone number is connected to one number. This telephone itself, the object, is connected to one number. There is a telephone line. Only one person, maybe two or three, have the number. I don't have the number. The person who has the number is the authorized person to use the number is Yoko Ono. And we don't know. But she will call. She might have called, and people might have picked up the phone. But she will call. And if you're in the room, if you're in the maze, it's an invitation to pick up the phone, and you will talk to Yoko Ono. But again, we don't know when. And she brings there another dimension of her work, a dimension which is very dear to the Fluxus movement, very dear to Marcel Duchamp, and very dear to the composer and musician John Cage. What is John Cage's major contribution to the world of music? Is that silence is music. But silence is never silence. If I stop talking right now, we won't have silence. You hear me breathing, you hear noise, you hear nature, but it comes to you in an uncontrollable way. It's chance. What John Cage did, his contribution, is that chance is part of art, part of music, part of sculpture, part of painting. Things that we cannot control. Things that are free. So here we might have a chance meeting. So I'm going to go inside and I will leave the maze only when Yoko Ono calls me. And maybe I'm going to get lost in the maze. And then we have jail. Here we have another work by Yoko Ono, which is also somehow dedicated to architecture as architecture at the center of the room, a room with no center. It's called Alpha Room. If you look at it, again, a little bit like the apple. She's bringing to the work everyday object in the tradition of Dada, Fluxus, and Marcel Duchamp. But what she has done here, that she has cut all these objects in two. Half of the room, half of the life, Half of what makes someone's everyday experience here has been removed. There are many ways to look at this room. Again, it's an invitation for visitors to bring their own experience, to bring their own history, to complete the room. If we talk about Marcel Duchamp said the viewer complete, finish the work. When you look at this room, facing all these objects, and you all know them, you have them. The chair, the bed, the lamp, the hat, the portrait of the grandfather. All of that is an invitation for you to complete it. Then it raises another question. The question of, has it been removed? Is it half empty? Is it half full? And again, we're talking early on about her knowledge and sensibility towards a Zen Buddhist tradition, where the notion of what's empty and what's full is very different than a Western understanding of what's empty and what's full. A little bit like John Cage, that silence never existed. Emptiness, vacuum, never exists. Because the minute you see it, all the object, the experience of the object, the history or the stories associated with this object are coming back to you. There's another aspect of Yoko Ono's work that needs to be recognized. She's playful. She has humor, a sense of humor. The maze is an example. And this white chess is another example. It goes back, of course, to a long tradition of artists being interested in chess. I mean, there was endless photos of Marcel Duchamp and Man Ray playing chess. It's a very cerebral game. But she changed the rule, like she does for painting, sculpture, music, architecture, everyday life. She changed the room. How? Well, it's very simple. All the pieces are white. So you can play. You can start playing. Start playing. And then another one. And then another one. But then, at some point, because all is white, unless you have an incredible memory, you're not going to remember which one is yours, which one is not yours. So there is no more winners. The rules of the game are twisted in such a way that all the parts are confused. Which one is mine? And this simple idea, this simple confrontation, playful, make this idea of a game based on a finality, on a goal that one needs to win, is destroyed. You can apply that to the game. You can apply that to human relationship. You can apply that to diplomacy. And we'll see later that maybe this very simple idea of changing this rule of engagement, will have an effect on our own thinking and our own activism toward peace. That there is no more winning, there is just engaging with each other. She has another version of this piece that she calls Play It by Trust, which also brings back the idea that trust is important for our work, but trust is important in the way we live with each other. Because you can keep playing, just trusting that the person is in front of you is actually respecting his, hers, or yours, or your last move. Here again, we are in a room, in an installation that is an invitation for visitors to act or not. For me, it's a bit of the continuation of all the pieces we have seen, from painting to hammer and nail to the white chess game. You're in a room surrounded by shelves, on which in these shelves you have little bags with broken dishes. Again, it's an invitation. Visitor can come, sit at the table, where you have glue, thread, scissors, tape. And the invitation is very simple. It's to fix the dishes. They are broken, and with glue, with decisions, you can make it better. You can fix it. Of course, it's a very simple gesture, very simple object. That's almost the kitchen table, the presence of the everyday, the importance of the everyday in Yoko's work. But it's more than that. Like an apple is more than an apple. A chess game is more than a chess game. When you stop, you slow down in your life. You sit down and you fix something which is broken. And of course, it's about fixing the world. It's about making life better. It's about making decisions that, if you want, we can build a better place, a better world. Or, of course, because there is absolutely no obligation, you can continue to break it. But that's your decision, and that's your responsibility.